Not to go on a quick tangent here, but I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and Tom Hamilton does the play-by-play for the Indians and now Guardians. He's honestly the reason why I'm here. Wanted to be on the radio instead of being on the field. I wanted to be the person talking about it or telling the story, and that effect that play-by-play announcers have and that relationship they have with fans. Why do you think that is?
Because they are the conduit. They're the connection to the team. And I can certainly understand. I mean, and knowing Tom Hamilton as long as I have, I can understand why Cleveland fans are connected to him. He is wonderful. He's excitable. He's great. And a great guy. And I've always liked Tom. But the broadcasters are the connection. They are your lifeline to the team, because if these teams just played in a stadium and there was no broadcast, you'd just be able to maybe read about them or something, but you can see them, you can hear about them. And for years and years, it was radio. 1920, KDKA radio in Pittsburgh did the first ever baseball broadcast.
Wow.
And they have the distinction of being the inventors of it. They go back to a gentleman by the name of Rosie Rosewell, who once they established they were going to broadcast games, people had an incredible connection to him and his folksiness and things like that. And it's just gone all around baseball, where you have the similar voices all the time, the same people who have built this encyclopedia of knowledge and trust with the fans, about the team. And when you hear those voices and when you watch them on television, you're immediately connected to the team. It's branding, for use a term of today's terminology, but it's also important. When we look at, with what's going on in the world today, whether you follow news or not, and if things affect you personally, you look at baseball, I think, and sports in general, but baseball in particular, especially this time of year, as an escape, as a distraction. And I go back to the 2020 season when baseball was a distraction for everybody, when we had the shutdown for COVID, pandemic restrictions, and everybody was stuck at home. And, when baseball came back, it was great, and people connected and then reconnected with the announcers. And, I just think that it's such an important part of our society is to have sports that bring together people of different opinions on other things. But, if you have people in Los Angeles that might have different views of how the city, the state, or the country should be run, when it comes to the Dodgers, they can all agree they want them to win. And that's because of Vin Scully. And when he got there in 1950 and with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and then in the late 50s to Los Angeles, that was just about the time the transistor radio was invented. And so people would bring them to the ball games, and you could hear Vin throughout the stadium. The players could hear him. They could hear the radio broadcast because of the number of people, the thousands and thousands of people that would bring radios to the game. There are countless stories of adults today who were kids then who would put the transistor radio under their pillow and fall asleep listening to Vin Scully and Jerry Doggett. It's just again, it's the connection. It's the connection you make, and the broadcaster is the conduit. And Vin was the biggest, best, and greatest conduit of all time.